cursory overload, doesn't it? I mean, we take everything to an inappropriate and unprofessional level. I mean, and that's probably the reason why we're following each other. Awesome, big shout out to, you know what? I'm doing a roll call here of everyone that's been following me and either Pato Morningstar or Cursory Overload. If you've been following any one of those, I'm giving everybody here a big shout out, and I'm just reading off your bios because this is some cool shit. Criminal Prince Podcast, a weekly true crime podcast with an emphasis on unsolved and solved cases and missing persons. This is from the USA, and Criminal Prince, check it out. I know that's the thing. I'm gonna be listening. I'm gonna be busy. I'm gonna have a lot of stuff to listen to, which is good. It's gonna make my night at work go by so much faster. That's why I love podcasts. Now we got something called Movie Virgins. Sweet, sexy, awkward first times with movies. Warning: podcast does not contain actual virgins. I like them. Definitely gonna check this out. I guess I retweeted they're doing something with Saving Private Ryan, so that's got potential. All right, so definitely Quick Bites Pod. There's fun in learning at random. We do research so you don't have to. Hosted by Pauline Altman and Jessica Thomas. Well, we all could use a little knowledge, so definitely we're going to be checking that out. Big shout out to them. And thank you for following Pato Morningstar or Cursory Overload, which I happen to be 50% of that. Then we have our True Crime Podcast. Our True Crime Podcast focuses on bizarre, lesser-known crime cases found around the globe, delivered with respect, a bit of humor, and smidge of song. Definitely checking this one out. Shout out to you guys too. Thank you for the follow. Film Shake, the 90s movie podcast. Film Shake is the only 90s movie podcast in the world. We did not fact check that. I like that. Hosted by Jordan, Courtney, and Nicholas Loop. Fact checked. True. All right, check them out. 90s movies. I mean, hey, come on. A lot of us grew up in the 90s, so wow. This should be cool. Definitely gonna give them a shit. Check it out. I'm gonna be listening because, like I said, I work night shift and I work in a job where a lot of the times I can be doing my job and just sit there listening to a podcast. This is awesome. This is why I'm a podcaster. This is why I love it. So big shout out to Film Shake, the 90s movie podcast. Thank you for the follow. And Infectious Groove Podcast, which I believe they are the ones responsible for all these activity in those past 12 hours of following each other. Thank you. Big shout out to all of you. Or I guess that's how I came across. Wait a minute. There's one other one that made a list and I included ourselves. And wow, there's so many. Wow. So hold on. Where am I? Hey. Infectious Groove Podcast. Let's check out what their bio says. And this is on Twitter, people. Infectious Groove Podcast. Russ, Michelle, and Kyle provide in-depth discussion on music of all genres. Find us on all major podcast platforms. So there you have it. They're from Detroit, Michigan, so they know music. I'm just saying. Never met anybody from Detroit that didn't know their music. I'm just saying. Big shout out to a couple people that I hope y'all listening. Lee and Richard, they're from Detroit and they know music. So this is how I know. All right, so Infectious Groove Podcast. Big shout out to them. Definitely going to be checking them out. My Drunk Movie Theater. They had me a drunk. Kyle and Trisha dive into the world of film, showing classics to friends, discussing movies, news, and sharing stories of life as movie theater managers. Ooh, an insight from the movie theater manager perspective. Sounds cool. Definitely will be checking them out. Thanks for the follow. My Drunk Movie Theater Podcast. Invasion of the Remake. Ooh, okay, this has potential. They're in your theaters, your neighbors, your homes, even your own. Let's see. J Bishop 616. 616. Someone knows something. Step Sams and Little Trishy guest defend you on an invasion of the remake podcast. Definitely will check it out. Thanks for the follow, and one thing I'd love to interact and maybe even, I don't know, be a guest or have you guys as a guest on my podcast here or Cursory Overload. Although, let me warn you, sometimes we have to prep K-Dog because the little fucker doesn't play well with others sometimes. Not really. Actually, he's a sweetheart until he tells you to go fuck yourself. Who Killed Teresa? That's, let's see, a podcast about unsolved murders in Quebec. Justice is blind and dysfunctional. Okay, so definitely. Unsolved murders in Canada. Who Killed Teresa? Big shout out. Thank you for the follow, and we'll be checking it out as well. Worse Than Fiction. Check out the brief. Okay, let me see this. Whoa. Worse Than Fiction is an ambitious true horror orchestration. Oh, I like that. That tells stories of true crime, freak accidents, disasters, and more. Graphy and music heavy. Okay. Definitely gonna be checking that out. Thanks for the follow, guys. I appreciate that. Slay Queen podcast. Whoa. I love it when the internet does whatever it wants. Sometimes this is why it took me forever to get a smartphone back in the day, because I would just touch the screen and the phone would go haywire. I haven't had that happen in a long time. I've become more able with my technology, but Anyway, as I was saying, Slay Queens podcast. A podcast dedicated to the discussion of true crimes that affect the LGBTQIA community. Hosted by at the Slay Queen Way and Slay Queens Ash. Definitely be checking this one out too. Thank you for the follow, and there we go. Let's continue. Small Town Secrets. A podcast that explores the strangeness of small towns. Every town has secrets. What is yours? Definitely will be checking this one out. And Small Town Secret Podcast, thank you for the follow on Twitter. Then there's Craig, who's a candy enthusiast and podcaster. I guess you can check them out at movieguys.org. I'll be doing that. Wow. Man, like I said, the list goes on. So as you know, when I tell you, I'm not kidding when I say you have options. Now, David, Time for the Percolator. Thanks for the follow. This is another podcaster. You can. Okay, let's see. The website is roosterbathshow.com. Fat, Drunk, and Stupid Podcast. Well, how can you not like something? Like I said, they had me at drunk and stupid. Hosted by Rob with occasional guests and friends. Grab a drink, let's talk about it. Hey, that sounds familiar, right? Cursory Overload. Sit down, pour yourself some whiskey, and sit down and listen what two middle-aged 9-year-olds have to say. Although, okay, and then here's, Reverie. I am going to butcher this. I am so sorry. Reverie True Crime. Reverie. Hello. Okay, Reverie True Crime Podcast. Means to daydream. Reverie means to daydream, but even daydreams can become nightmares. Join our host, Paige, as she tells you about horrific reveries and eerie events. Definitely. Okay, wow. So, you've heard, I've been talking about it for the last, 10, 15 minutes, just reading bios from all the different podcasts. And and if you notice, I'm not going after the Joe Rogans, even though Mark Maron's, even though WTF is, like I say, I look at Mark Maron as my mentor when it comes to podcasting. But if you notice, I didn't mention any of those big time podcasters. So I'm talking about people like you and me that could be doing this. I mean, I'm talking about the regular podcast. People that, like I said, I was asking my partner one time, I'm like, be honest, motherfucker. How often do you listen to other podcasters? And I ain't talking about the Joes, Fat Man on Batman's or wait a minute, Fat Man Beyond's now. I'm talking. He's like, well, to be honest, yeah, I know. It's like there's a lot of people that they only listen to the celebrity podcasters. And you know what? I'm all about supporting each other. I mean, this is what I mean. If we're going to be if one day we're aiming to be in the Joe Rogan spots, in the Mark Maron spots, we need to work together and support each other. K-Dog was talking about last Cursory Overload episode. He was talking about what if Universal Studios did away with the Marvel area they got, and turned it into DC. And I said, well, that would require a collaboration between studios, Warner Brothers and Warner Brothers, DC, and Universal Studios. And he's like, well, sometimes that's the only way to take on the mouse in this case, or the big guys. Well, we're not here. We all have something special. I mean, I understand that we all get the universe is huge, and we all get our little bit of sunlight or whatever, our ray of sunshine. The sun shines for everyone. But what I'm saying is that sometimes, I could just see myself trying to talk to Joe Rogan. He'd tell me to go fuck myself. But it's important for us little guys to stick together, because it's the only way we can make up an alliance and be heard, put ourselves out there. I might be able to help you get out there to a different audience. You might be able to help me to reach other audiences, and that's how we cross-pollinate. Is that the correct thing? I don't know. I'm just saying. If K-Dog was here, he would say, sounds like a big orgy just by a lot of podcasts just having a big orgy. Yeah. Well, with all the names of this podcast, that wouldn't be so far out. So, anyway, everybody that's followed Pato Morningstar and followed Cursory Overload this last couple days and this week, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And we're easy to get a hold of. You want to reach out to us, you want to be on our podcast, we'd love to have you. If you want to have us in your podcast, we'll do whatever we'll work with you. That way, I don't know. Let's work together, and so that we can all move forward and get closer to what our dreams are. Like I said, if some people may just be something as simple as just getting behind the microphone, having a conversation with their BFF across the country, sipping on either Fireball, Crown Royale, or Rum Chata lately. Man, that stuff is good. All I'm saying, and by the way, all these brands I just said, they're not paying me. That stuff that I just consumed. But anyway, thank you for listening to this special podcast. It's one of the longest ones I've done. But thank you to each and every one of you for following, and to you motherfuckerettes that listen to the Powerhouse and Cursory Overload on a regular basis. Thank you. But like I said, when I say it, I really mean it, because you can see I just did a roll call of all the other options you have there. And chances are maybe you haven't even heard of some of these. So hopefully now you have, and it'll broaden your horizons, and you'll come back and listen. Anyway, thank you for putting up with me today. This is Pato, the Ghostwriter, Pato Morningstar. Either one of those I answer to. Have a awesome week, awesome weekend. Live each day like it's your last one, because it very well could be, Spend time with your family members or whoever completes you, whatever your family is, whatever and whoever your family is. Tell them you love them, show them you love them, because, hey, tomorrow is not promised to anyone, especially not in 2020. Till next time. See ya.